Hey everyone, so welcome to Module 5, and this module is all about lead generation. So we're going to be talking about how you can generate leads as an accountancy firm using social media. So just one thing that I just want to mention before we go into this is that if you've already done the previous modules, so modules 1 to 4, especially modules 3 and 4, which is all about building that targeted audience and building trust and relationships with people, then this module, generating leads, is actually a lot easier than you may initially be thinking. So in order to generate leads with people using social media, one of the best ways that you can do this, it really just comes down to the social element of social media. And what that means is it comes down to having conversations with people. Conversations, real conversations, is the key really to generating leads with social media. And if these conversations are relevant and useful and they trust you, so before you start having these conversations, if there's some sort of trust element already built up into that conversation, then you're just going to get much better results and a much higher chance that these people will actually turn into leads. So one of the things, actually two things that will affect the success of your lead generation on social media are, first of all, your target audience, who you're actually targeting. You need to be very clear about who that is, and you need to be able to, secondly, offer them something that is of value specifically for your target audience. So these are the two most important things that I just want you to keep in mind as we go through this module. You need to know who you're targeting. You need to have a clear idea of who it is that you want to get in front of. And secondly, you need to have a good offer. And a good offer is usually something that's free and something that's valuable to people. So usually something like a free consultation wouldn't really be considered a good offer. That's more of, that's something that you do to make a sale or try to get a new client. But when I'm talking about lead generation, it's more about sending them a piece of content. It could be a blog post, it could be a video, giving them something in return for their name and email address. And that's what we count as a lead. When someone actually gives you their contact info, it could be the name, their email, that's the most common one. It could also be their phone number. But once they give you their contact info and then you can follow up with them through email marketing and other types of marketing, that's what we count as a lead. And that really should be your whole goal when it comes to lead generation, is capturing people's information. And the best way that you can do that is by giving them something that's valuable. Okay? So your goal essentially is to get that social media audience that you've been building up from a follower to a lead. And through this module, we're actually going to show you the different ways that you can actually do that. And there isn't one only way of generating leads on social media. There's actually quite a few ways that you can generate leads using social media. And we're going to show you all of them, and we're going to show you what ones are the best for accountancy firms and what ones are the easiest to implement, what ones are the most cost effective, and what ones are a bit more expensive, but they actually, they're huge in terms of scalability and they have a lot of potential. So as you've probably been going through our videos, you'll probably know that one of the things that I say often, and also Karen says often, is about starting small and then work your way up and grow, and then invest more things as you start to grow. So when it comes to lead generation, again, you don't need to do everything. Just start off small and do what you can. And as you start to get more and more leads and get more and more results, and as your accountancy firm starts to grow, then you can obviously invest more money, more time, and more resources in then generating more leads to convert more leads into sales. So what I want to do now as an introduction to this module is just give you an overview of some of the different social media channels and some of the ways and strategies that you can actually generate leads using these different social media channels. Because remember, every social media channel does work slightly different, even though what we're teaching you, the principles of social media can apply to all social media channels, but the way you actually execute them are different from channel to channel. So let's just go through some of the main ways that you can actually generate leads on social media. And first of all, let's talk about Twitter, as that's a very popular one for accountancy firms and it works quite well. We have a number of clients on our Twitter lead generation package who generate leads every month as a result of this activity. And in order to generate leads on Twitter, it really comes down to having those conversations with people on a one-to-one basis. So the way that we use Twitter is we find people who are related to you in your target audience, so your potential clients. We find these people on Twitter using different search functions and all these kind of things that we'll show you how to do in this module anyway. But essentially, once we find them, we connect to them, we engage with them, and then we send them a personalized custom message. And that message isn't just a generic, hey, thanks for following me kind of message that if you have Twitter, you probably see a lot of those going out, which absolutely provides no value to people whatsoever. So the way that we do it, we actually provide value to people. We start a conversation with them. It's quite conversational, the initial message that we send out to them. And we either ask them a question, or we offer them a piece of content, or we give them something in exchange for them to reply back and engage with you and give them your email address. So just as a very quick example, with some of the clients that we're doing this for one of the clients, they're targeting people that are involved in animal clinics, vets, animal hospitals, things like that. So that's who they're targeting. So we are producing a piece of content that is directed towards those kind of people. And at the moment, the content, at the time of recording this, the content still isn't ready. So that's the article or the guide that we're creating for these vets still isn't ready yet. But we are still generating leads because we're starting conversations with people on Twitter saying, hey, I noticed that you work with animals, or that you're a vet, or whatever it is. We're looking to release a guide very soon on how you can grow your practice. Is this something that you'd be interested in? And even though the guide isn't ready yet, we've actually had people replying back saying, yes, this is something we'd be interested in, and they're giving us their name and their email address so that we can send them the piece of content moving forward. So even if you don't yet have content or any things to actually offer people yet, you can actually just test out what kind of offer could work by asking people a question if it's something that they'd be interested in. And we've only done this for a few weeks, and we've had a number of leads already come through just by asking people a question. So we don't even have a landing page, we don't have nothing. All we have is basically a promise that we're going to give them a piece of content in the future, and we're generating leads on Twitter using that. For other clients, we have webinars. We send them a link to a webinar where they can get some value and learn something new on how they can grow their business. For other clients, again, we maybe just send them a link to a blog post or something that they can, or a landing page, something that where they can enter their name and email and then download a free book or a free publication, or watch a free video, something like that. There's lots of ways that you can play this. So have a think about, for your own accountancy firm, what would work best? What can you offer people so that you can actually get their name and email address? And on Twitter, the way that you do that is just by having conversations with people. And we're going to show you how you can do all of that. Okay, so next on the list is Instagram and Facebook. So on Instagram and Facebook, and I'm putting them together, by the way, because Facebook own Instagram. So when you do advertising on Instagram or Facebook, you're going to be using basically the same platform. So when we teach you how to do adverts and advertising on Facebook and Instagram, that is very similar in terms of how they actually work. So that's just something that's worth keeping in mind. But in order to get any sort of leads on Facebook and Instagram, just posting social media updates and things like that on those channels really isn't going to be enough. In fact, just posting social media updates on all the social media channels isn't going to be enough to get you any kind of leads and things like that. So you need to be sort of proactive and actually offer people something, and especially on Instagram and Facebook, you need to do some sort of paid advertising to get any form of real results. So Instagram and Facebook, in order to actually get results, as I mentioned, you need to do paid advertising. How do you actually do that? So we're going to show you how you can do it step by step, but just as an overview now, it really comes down to, first of all, choosing your target audience. So on Facebook, they have all kinds of different parameters and things that you can actually drill down and search for and really find the key people in your target audience. And as you're typing in different search queries, as you're typing in maybe keywords or maybe things that people might be interested in, or maybe job titles or demographics or their age or whatever it is that would match your type of potential clients, you can type all of that in Facebook. And as you're typing it in, Facebook will tell you how many potential people you can actually reach. So obviously, the bigger your audience are, the more people that you can actually reach. So for example, if you're targeting people in the whole of the United Kingdom, the whole of the United States, that's going to be a huge amount of potential people. If you're just targeting people locally in and around where you actually work from, there's going to be slightly less people. So you can just play around with the results, and you ideally you want to be getting an audience that's not too small and not too big, somewhere in the middle. And again, we're going to show you all the numbers that you need to know and how you can actually do all of this in this module. So Facebook targeting is incredibly powerful. Not just can you find pretty much anyone on Facebook and Instagram these days, because most people have an account on either one of those two platforms, But on top of that, you can also create multiple different adverts. You can test what adverts perform the best. You can also do different types of campaign objectives. So you can tell Facebook whether you want to generate leads, get more views to your content, get more people watching your videos, whatever it is that you want to do. You can tell Facebook what you want to do. And they have a really smart algorithm which has just been improving constantly every month. Every month that we do ads on Facebook and Instagram, we're seeing better and better results. And a large part of that is actually because the Facebook algorithm themselves, they're constantly improving, and they can work out what kind of people are more likely to engage with and actually become leads on your campaign. So they're getting incredibly smart. They have a whole load of data that they use. I know in the past, some people have been reluctant to use Facebook and Instagram for B2B, but I'd say right now where we are, especially for 2017, this is something that's going to be incredibly powerful, and it's just going to be getting more and more powerful as time goes on. So it's definitely something you want to consider for your social media strategy. The only thing to keep in mind is that you will need to spend some money on Facebook and or Instagram to actually do this, but it's definitely going to be well worth their investment. So the other channel is LinkedIn that you can see there. So on LinkedIn, similar to Twitter, we can find people that would be your potential clients, people that will be related to you in your target audience. And on LinkedIn, you can search for people based on their job title, their industry, their location, all these different kind of things. And similar to Twitter, it all comes down to having conversations, one-on-one conversations with these people. So you don't want to be spammy. You don't want to just message people and try and sell your services. Again, you want to provide value to people. So just as a quick side point on LinkedIn and Twitter, because this is all about really having one-to-one conversations with people to generate leads. One of the things that we found also works well is events. So if you organize any events, you speak at any events, or you go to any events, and these events don't even have to be sort of face-to-face where they have to meet up in person, which is great, you can do that. But even if they're just online events such as webinars, that kind of stuff can go really well when generating leads, because at these events, as long as these events are obviously, you're providing immense value to them by the people being there, this can be a really good way to generate leads. So one of the things I also wanted to mention is just when you're using different methods, so different pieces of content and things to generate leads, don't just stick to one thing. Be sure to test different options. Be sure to test different maybe landing pages or offers. Even if you find one that works really well, you never know, there might be something that could work even better. So continually test, and keep trying to improve the results that you're getting. So that's definitely something that we also do with our clients. I mean, for example, on Twitter, we don't just send out one type of message, we send out two types of messages just to see what one performs better. And in fact, in everything that we do, not just on Twitter, but on Facebook and so on, we also constantly test different adverts, different offers, different people that we target to see what gets the best results. So it's definitely something that we also recommend that you do as well. So finally, we have the 4 at the bottom: Medium, Snapchat, Google+, and YouTube. So we have actually generated some leads on these channels, but it's a bit more of a passive way in terms of how we generate leads. For example, someone might just stumble upon an article on Medium, and we have a call to action, and then they click on it, and then maybe they book a meeting with us, or they sign up for another piece of content, or through maybe they sign up to a webinar or something else that we're doing. So we actually use these channels just really to share our content. YouTube is another good example with that. So we create different videos and things like that. But the only thing I'll just say to keep in mind if you're using any of these channels is just make sure that you have a call to action on your content that you send out. So on Medium or YouTube especially, if you're actually sending out your content or your videos, your articles on these channels, just make sure that somewhere in that content, whether that's in the YouTube description or whether that's in the article on Medium, make sure that you have some sort of call to action to get people to take the next step, so that they can actually become a lead, and you can actually generate leads using these channels. In terms of lead generation, we usually get the best results though with the top 4 channels above, which is Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So most of our videos on this module will be focusing on those channels. And the rest of the channels are really more about building up trust and really getting your content out there, getting it in front of more people, which can indirectly help you with lead generation, but it's going to be a bit more difficult to track. So for now, just keep the 4 channels at the top: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn in mind. We're going to go through step-by-step videos of how you can generate leads using all of those channels. and especially Facebook and Instagram, there's going to be a lot of in-depth training because there's a lot to cover in there. So it's something that's going to be really exciting for you, and I'm sure that you're really going to enjoy this module. And just be sure to apply everything that you learn as always, and make sure that you keep testing and make sure that you keep getting the best results that you can.